thanks so much for coming in for the second part of the Q&A video. If you have any other questions, please post them on this video. From Lisa, and she says, so I know myself, I also have questions about reselling and just how to start into the business, as I'm always finding treasures, but how many garage sales can one have? Oh, isn't that the truth? I need to have a garage sale, but the weather's horrible, and so I don't know if I want to do that, but I am thinking of going back to the flea market. So many things that do not translate to eBay, to Etsy, to anywhere else, but an impulse buy at a garage sale. Holly G, I got a question that says, would like to know what Etsy is all about and what items are best to sell on that venue. I get confused by the eBay charges and which site is best for making the best profit. eBay charges are just a little bit more than Etsy. They're not that expensive. They charge you, I think, 20 cents for listing the item for 4 months, and then of course they have like a 3% charge for the value on that. And then of course if you take PayPal, I think PayPal is $1.50 for each transaction or something like that. But the main difference between Etsy and eBay, in my opinion, is that the Etsy buyer is it's more of a hipster market, because it really is. There's people that know they can buy their custom things there, custom-made hand-knit scarves and purses that are unbelievably made by hand. Clothing. I've sold jewelry there. And that's what the Etsy buyer is known for. She knows what she wants. He knows what he wants. He goes to Etsy, he's going to find it. And he's not afraid to pay a little bit more for it. Etsy is a more focused buyer. It's a younger demographic. Leanna Carter, and she says, she asks, I would love to know how you organize everything you accumulate in order to resell, but that doesn't maybe sell in the time you had hoped. Your home appears large and gorgeous. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So I've often wondered if you have a separate room with shelves, and oh my gosh, don't I wish I had a separate room. Right now, as you can tell, this is my space. This has always been my space. As you know, I've always been a hoarder and a collector. So when I used to collect handbags, Victorian handbags, I used to have them in my walls, hung up on my walls. I had dolls everywhere because I used to collect dolls. Ashtrays everywhere because I used to collect ashtrays. All kinds of things have always been the decor of my room. My room is kind of like a catch-all junk shelves. I have built-in bookshelves all over the house. I also have a built-in bookshelf. That's where I have the cookbooks in the kitchen. Trunks, those caboodle trunks. I fill those with jewelry, American jewelry in a certain jewelry box. I have rings and necklaces and bracelets on either the milk glass vases that I have, or I have some bracelet racks. I also have an armoire in this room on the other side. Patterns in there. I have DVDs. I have some vintage toys. And as you can see, I have a lot of handbags hung up and on shelving all across the room. Chapman, she says, Thelma, I just asked you on your book haul how you determine what to charge for shipping. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Books, it's pretty much determined by Amazon. They charge $3.99 for shipping, and then I actually mail them media mail, which runs pretty much the same. I think, for an average book, it's $2.17. Some big heavy books are $4. Harley Gran, and she says, how do you clean up your bags before reselling when you do reject an authentic bag? When you do reject an authentic bag due to condition, how much wear is acceptable to you? Do you have a way to get rid of cigarette odors in handbags? Love your videos as always. Thank you so much. Purchased a gorgeous bag that was plastic, and it was a Ralph Lauren with the little polo ponies all over it. I smelled that thing as soon as I opened the package. I did try wiping it, and I could not take the odor out. So I really am dumbfounded with that. I think there might be some videos here on YouTube about it. Cleaning on a handbag. Say I had a leather interior. I'll get a nice stiff brush, and I'll brush it out. With leather, I shine it up. I've told you before, I use good quality hand lotion. I know there's naysayers out there. Don't use it if you don't want to. This is what I do, and it works for me. I get some Lubriderm or some other high quality lotion, and I wipe it and buff it with that, and it's perfect. Wear a vintage Coach, one of those heavy leather ones. I stop short of an oil stain or anything that's going to be visible on the outside. Same thing with, let's say, a vintage Dooney and Burke. If it has faded from the corners to the point where they're white and they're peeling and you can see the piping or something, no, I'm not going to bother. I saw you some bags. I just saw one the other day. It was gorgeous. and I opened it up, and I mean, it looked like 3 cats had been living in there. It was just horrific. I mean, who would want that? Baby Girl 77, hey, baby girl. She says, oh, great idea. I have a few bags I want to sell, but I don't know what site is best to sell on. And a site that doesn't take a whole lot of money from your selling on it. I have a leather cobalt blue Michael Kors mini barrel. That sounds really cute. Mini barrel bag that I want to sell, but as I said, I have no clue on what store to sell it on or anything. What should I do? All right, for the Michael Kors, I go on eBay, and simultaneously I would put it on Poshmark as well. Poshmark will take 20%, so you can expect to make a little bit more on eBay, but it will probably take you a little bit longer to sell it on eBay, because Michael Kors, first of all, has saturated the market. There are tons of Michael Kors bags out there that people. So even though you might lose maybe $20, if you sold it on Posh, you would probably sell it on Posh. Probably put it for a little bit more on Poshmark and be open for an offer and price accordingly. Because for S keepers, have you ever bought something on one website and then resold it on another website for double the price? What are the trends with jewelry sales? I remember when people were looking for vintage watches, and I wonder what you're seeing in this niche. Thanks for having a Q&A. I love this idea. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're in. Yes, vintage watches are, I mean, lots of things just ebb and flow. Swatch watches were really hot 10 years ago. Then they what do you call it? They played out. Sterling silver was super hot about 8 years ago. Especially the bracelets, the Tosco bracelets, the sign bracelets. I think jewelry is always popular. Your turquoise jewelry, don't ever leave it behind. If you see it at a thrift store, garage sale, grab it. I mean, jewelry aficionados, they're always gravitating to anything that is unique and modern and vintage. And as far as vintage watches, I know definitely men's watches. Women are into using the oversized men's watch. That played out for me. I did that back in the 90s. They are even, which surprised me, but they are looking for what they call the patina on the crystal. So what you may perceive as a scratched up crystal, the collector will see as a patina, and you can list it as such. I have a couple of watches that my uncle gave me. I think I mentioned in a video, and I've also posted them on my Instagram, because he was a hoarder and a collector and a flea market seller as well. And so he gifted me quite a few nice watches, Gruen and other Elgins and things like that I have, and I always garner a lot of interest when I put them up. I have buying things and doubling the price, absolutely. Now I don't usually set out, except for this year. I mentioned to you guys that I wanted to start getting into the luxury market, selling more of the high-end handbags like Louis Vuitton, and so that's what I buy from a flea market or from a thrift store. I mean, doubling my price is the goal, and if I can't double it, triple it, and maybe even 10 times it, then I'm not going to buy it. But yeah, that's definitely the whole end game of what we do. Comments from Kay Laquel. She says, want to sell me the big black leather hobo bag you thrifted a while back? Actually, I sold that big black leather hobo bag, and I did triple my money on that one. Sold that, I believe, on eBay. It's definitely sold, but keep looking on my sites, because I do have a lot of bags for sale. Coastal Texas boy, and I've been communicating with him on Instagram, and I can't wait to meet you. I hope I one day am able to go to your shop where you work and meet you. You sound like such a delight. Do you sell books on eBay? I haven't seen any on your eBay store before. Since I've been following you earlier this year, what's your take on selling books on eBay? And if so, what books are the best to sell on eBay? I've only sold one book, a science book, that had pictures of science paintings from famous painters. All right, well, yes, I have sold books on eBay before. I only recently started selling books on Amazon, and they're called the value books, and they'll do different famous people like Helen Keller, or what's the one I bought yesterday, Beethoven, and those have sold for probably about $4 a piece. I did lot. Mostly what I would sell on Amazon was my textbooks, and then I started watching Picking for Profits and watched a lot of his book hauls. And then what turned me on to Amazon was that one of the books he sold, I think I mentioned this in a video, one of the books he sold for over $100, I actually had in my personal collection, and I was like, wow, I'm going to sell that book, because I bought it for probably $1 or $2, had it for 10 years, and I also made over $100. I think he sold his for $150, and I sold mine for $130. So Definitely, that's when I started putting things on Amazon, but I still put them on eBay as well, especially children's books or vintage books. Lisa Arrington says, love some advice on your book selling. Do you sell internationally? I do not sell internationally unless they ask me to on Etsy. And again, that's because the Etsy buyer, to me, and this may be a prejudice, but to me, the Etsy buyer is a more reliable buyer. So when someone emails me and says, can you please send this to Canada? And I tell them, okay, it'll probably double or triple the shipping. And they say, yes, okay, I do it. Other than that, I really don't bother to put it in there on eBay because I have been burned on eBay through international shipping. I have made a lot of money on international shipping, and I probably should go back to doing it because definitely I have a lot of good stories about selling internationally and making lots of money. But that one burn really ruined it on book selling. Is many people say that fiction does not sell. Other people say that it does. But I myself mostly buy nonfiction. I look for things like obscure cookbooks, exotic cookbooks, like, you know, Indian, or books from famous restaurants, lifestyle books, a lot of the 60s books of lifestyle, war books, history books, but not your Time Life mass-produced books, technical books, engineering books, your textbooks. But textbooks, you really want to scan those up because obsolete and the professor's not using them for that course, or they have so many editions, you know, that they don't sell for very much. But really check them out because some of them can make money on textbooks, definitely. Ethnic books, vintage cookbooks, definitely. I don't know, I guess you kind of have to look at my book hauls too because I kind of forget. But I know that I stick with nonfiction. Or the technical books like fixing your car, or your Corvettes, restoration books. Those do really well. So I'm a kind of a bibliophile myself. And I love books, especially nonfiction books. And when I look at a book and I like it, I think, you know, maybe somebody else will like it. Hi, Thelma. I love your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you. You're so sweet. I just wanted to let you know that you might consider using the Periscope for your Q&A sessions. It's a live stream. People can ask questions and you can answer in real time. Just thought you might consider the option. Thanks again and happy Thanksgiving. Guys, I hope all of y'all had a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. I am going to look into Periscope. I no longer have my my Mac, and I'm going to probably put a video about that because I'm very heartbroken about it. But I no longer have my Mac. I'm down to my regular PC, my old PC, so I don't know, and I don't know if I could do that on my phone. I guess I can. I don't know. I'm not really very familiar with it. I have watched a couple of people who do that, and I think it's a lot of fun, but I kind of like this little format as well because that way you can post your questions over the week, and then I can answer them, you know, the next week or in a couple of days. Like I said before when I started the video, I may not even go the entire week. If I just accumulate, maybe if I can at least gather 10 questions from you guys, I'll put in the video in a couple of days. So please leave me some more questions. Thank you so much for asking all of these questions. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. Let me double check, guys, because I don't want any disgruntled subscribers. Oh, Leanna Carter. Yes, you asked me about my P.O. box, and I would love for you to send me something. That is so sweet of you. You don't have to, guys. Please don't ever feel like you have to send me anything, but that is so nice of you to think of me and my husband. And if you'd like my address, just email me here on YouTube and I will email you my address. I do not have a P.O. box. I don't really expect anybody to be sending me gifts, so I just don't want to make that expense. That's pretty expensive, guys. $16 a month. Anyway, thank you so much, Leanne, for offering to send me something. Very sweet of you. Don't feel like you have to send me anything, but that's very nice. Address, just email me here at YouTube on the YouTube About Me page, and then I will send you my address. Okay, thank you so much for offering that. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming in for this video. I'm so tired of seeing the glare in my glasses, guys. I had to pull them off. But thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for posting your questions. I hope I answered them thoroughly, but if I didn't, please, if you want a follow-up question or another question, post them here on this video, and then when I gather up about 10 questions or more, I will put up another video. It may not be a whole week like I did now. I think I've answered like 15 or 16 questions, and please feel free to ask me anything on this video. I love your questions, and I love you guys so much. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.